I do not say this without due consideration. Red Dead Redemption 2 is an impossible game. Not just in the sense that it defies the technical limits of its era, but in the sense that it defies the laws of time itself. This game is not supposed to exist. Not with this level of detail, not with this environment, and especially not running on a PlayStation 4. And yet, it does exist. But it doesn't just exist. This is the game that is compared to every single next-gen release ever. And for some reason, most games don't even come close to it. But how? How can a game from 2018 simply refuse to age? Red Dead 2 has something that almost every modern release overlooks during production. Not the environments, not the characters, and no, not even the attention to detail, but the glue that sticks everything together: art direction. If graphics are the skeleton of a game, then art direction is the soul. It's not just about how the game looks, but why it looks that way. Art direction is the decision behind every element on your screen, every shadow, every sunset, every snowflake. None of it is ever random. Every visual element in your screen has a purpose. Have you ever noticed how clouds move and cast shadows? Or how sunlight pierces through trees and fog, creating gorgeous volumetrics? Or perhaps even how water reflections become rippled because of the wind? All of these features were handmade for specific weather patterns and different times of day to maximize the player's immersion. Because of this, the open world doesn't just look beautiful, it feels alive. And nowhere is this feeling more apparent than in the 5 regions of the game. Ambarino is a land of extremes, split between the brutal isolation of the Grizzlies West and the rugged forests of the Grizzlies East. It is by far the most remote region in the entire game, but also the most overwhelming. There are no major towns here, and signs of civilization are few and far between. Arthur is completely alone. To the west, snow dominates the landscape, blanketing cliffs, forests, and valleys in an agonizing silence. Colors are stripped back to harsh whites, cold blues, and desaturated grays. Everything feels sharp and steel. Light bounces off the snow like a knife, and sound is swallowed by the wind. This is a place where Arthur is small, fragile even, and the environment constantly reminds you of it. Movement becomes a challenge, survival feels earned. It's a region that humbles you with scale and isolation, making you feel small in the sheer force of the wilderness. But further east, the landscape softens but never fully relents. The snow gives way to dense pine forests, steep hills, and rushing rivers. The color palette warms ever so slightly, with deeper greens, rich browns, and softer blues, and signs of life do begin to appear. Logging camps, cabins, and moonshiners occupy the edges, but even here, the wilderness feels dominant. If the Grizzlies West is pure isolation, the Grizzlies East is a reminder of how precarious life is on the edge of survival. New Austin, the land scorched into silence, where the sun burns like an unforgiving sentinel and the earth cracks open beneath its gaze. Red rock formations stretch across the horizon. The palette shifts to baked ochres, sun-bleached yellows, and rusty reds that crackle with the heat. Shadows are sharp, the air carries dust, and time seems slower out here. You can almost feel the dryness in your throat and the heat on your back. This is a place where nature has burned away anything that doesn't belong. All that remains is raw, dangerous, and mythic. The land feels wide open and lawless, perfect for tales of desperation, survival, and freedom. The western mesas rise jagged and harsh, while the plains to the east soften slightly into muted browns and faded greens. Water is scarce, but when it appears, subtle reflections shimmer with quiet realism, offering rare moments of relief in an unforgiving landscape. Lemoyne stands out immediately with its thick, oppressive atmosphere. The swamps of Bayou Noir are cloaked in mist and shadow, while Saint-Denis buzzes with smoke, noise, and decadence. The palette leans into pale golds, murky greens, and washed-out grays, layering decay over elegance. Trees drop under moss, alligators lurk just beneath the waterline, and lantern light flickers through the fog like something out of a Southern Gothic fever dream. The water also deserves special praise. Even without ray tracing, Rockstar's use of screen space reflections, high-resolution cube maps, and excellent water simulation makes every puddle in the bayou shimmer with an eerie realism. Lemoyne feels tired, haunted, and on the edge of collapse, perfectly suited for a story about a fading era. Every ruined homestead and forgotten dock tells of a world slowly slipping away, caught between past grandeur and inevitable decay. New Hanover is the most quietly complex of the regions. Rolling plains, flowing rivers, and modest towns paint a picture of frontier life on the verge of transformation. Warm greens, soft browns, and rich blues fill the screen with skies that seem to stretch forever. It feels peaceful, but there's an underlying tension. Railroads, factories, and fences begin to cut through the land. This region captures the uneasy balance between nature and progress, between freedom and order. Even when everything looks calm, you can feel the shift coming. New Hanover's palette moves between the lush and the worn. It is a place almost frozen in time, where the fading echoes of the old frontier brush up against the relentless march of progress. West Elizabeth is where wilderness and order find a rare but almost perfect balance. To the west lies Tall Trees, the most mysterious place in the entire game, not because of its lore, but because of its ambience. The forest glows in soft golds and deep greens, with shafts of light piercing through the canopy to illuminate the dense undergrowth. Every rustle in the brush suggests a story unfolding just beyond your line of sight. Beauty and unease coexist, wrapped in golden light that beckons you to look closer, to listen harder. But as you move north, the trees begin to thin and the land swells into Big Valley, where rolling hills and pine-covered ridges give way to flowering meadows. Mossy greens blend into dusty purples and sunbursts of gold, while the light feels more clear, more open, especially near Mount Shan, where the sky stretches wide and the distant peaks fade to lavender at dusk. And then, almost before you notice, to the east, you come across Strawberry, a little town tucked in so naturally you might even miss it if you're not looking for it. Walking through Strawberry, it's easy to believe the place belongs to the land as much as the land belongs to it. The red roofs and mossy rooftops don't stand out or try to take over. They just fit right in, like they've always been part of the woods. But as you head south, The terrain flattens and opens up again into the Great Plains, an endless sea of tall grasses and wildflowers, brushed by pale blues and faded yellows, where bison roam slow and steady under the weight of an impossibly vast sky. And at the eastern edge of the plains, the landscape shifts one final time. Blackwater rises, orderly, ambitious, and distinctly modern. Gaslight boulevards cut through polished streets, and the symmetry of progress begins to override the memory of what came before. But even here, something lingers, a reminder that change may pave over the past, but it never fully erases it. Red Dead Redemption 2 doesn't end when the credits roll. It lingers in memory, in atmosphere, in the way the light falls on a quiet road at dusk. This isn't a world you simply pass through, it's one that settles into you, quietly, permanently. Everything you've seen, every path you've taken, every storm that rolled in on the horizon, it all stays with you, because this isn't just an open world. It's a work of art, where the terrain holds emotion and the silence between moments says as much as the dialogue in the entire game.